Hola mi gente, I'm Mariana Atencio and welcome to this episode of the Mariana Atencio Show. Bienvenidos a todos. I'm coming to you virtually, of course. You know that I'm a journalist, I'm also a media founder, and more importantly, I am a speaker. I'm someone who has spent the past decade communicating on camera, communicating on stages, on TV, and especially now on Zoom. Yes, through this little lens right here, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on the computer. And recently, more and more executives at companies where I speak come to me and ask me, Mariana, can you help me with my communication tips? And not top executives solely. I mean, we're talking about people from all walks of life, young professionals, tenured professionals, because we're all facing the need to communicate virtually every single day. The hybrid and the remote world is not going away, but somehow, y estoy segura que les ha pasado, you see yourself on a recording or you see yourself after a meeting and you're like, wow, I didn't look too good. And it's because nobody has trained you to communicate virtually. So it's okay if you don't know how to do it. That's training that I had for over 10 years and you don't. You know what you're supposed to know. And that's why I'm here, because in this video today, I'm going to give you 5 communication tips to communicate confidently on virtual and cut through the noise. In this time together, in this short video, we're going to look at 1, where to look. 2, hand gestures, qué hacer con las manos. 3, how to come across authentically. 4, we're going to look at lighting. And 5, active listening. So stick with me, strap on, take some notes, because this could possibly change your professional life. Quédense conmigo, vamos a ver estos 5 puntos que te van a cambiar la vida y cómo te comunicas virtualmente. Because how people perceive you on camera is how people will perceive you, period, nowadays. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. 1, eye contact. Where to look. Okay, first things first. Many people that I see doing virtual are looking like crazy eyes all over the place, and that's super distracting and does not communicate trust to the people who are on the other side of the screen. So the first thing you have to know is that you have to look straight at this lens. I'm using a phone right now, so that's in the case of the phone. You don't have to look at the other people on the screen. You don't have to look at yourself on the screen. Try to look at this lens right there as much as you can, and try to imagine that that's the other person's eyes that you are talking to. So if I have a phone right here, it's this lens right over here. That's what you're supposed to look at. And then if you are doing an iPad, you're supposed to look at the corner lens right over here. So whenever it's a phone on horizontal, an iPad, it kind of like veers off to the side. So that can be a little tricky. And all that I mean with this is that it's hard. It's not natural to look at the lens. Our first kind of impulso, our first emphasis is to look at yourself or to look at the other person. But you have to train yourself to do it, because again, that's what's going to communicate the most trust. Even if you veer your eyes away from the lens for a little bit to do something like check your phone or you're checking your emails, that can break the trust with the other person very fast. Even if you think that you're getting away with it y que la gente no se está dando cuenta, que no estás viendo al agujerito, la gente sí se está dando cuenta. Let me give you an example. So my sister Graciela's here, my very shy sister who many of you have seen on social media. So let's say that I'm supposed to be paying attention to you guys, but I'm really looking off to the side to see what Graciela's doing. You see? So if I were to be pitching an idea to you, immediately you'd be like, what is this person doing? And you have to think about, okay, maybe that was a minuscule movement, but human beings, because of this age of virtual, we have become like walking little lie detector tests. We're looking at every single thing, every little gesture that you're doing, and sometimes we're not even doing it purposely, but we are registering it. So if you have notes, for example, and I'm doing purposely this on notes right now, it's okay to look down. It's okay to look at your notes. News anchors do it all the time, you know, because you don't also want to pretend that you know everything by memory and then just look back up at the people. It's just when you're looking away that it's distracting. There was a study about the role of gaze and the role of camera distance and angle, and it was conducted by Stanford and Sweden's University of Gothenburg. And that study, you see how I read the study and then I went back and looked at you guys. It's okay if you want to look at your papers and read a fact and then turn back to the people. That communicates gravitas, that you actually know what you're talking about. But remember, just try to pretend that you're actually talking to a real person. Sometimes it helps if you put, clients of mine cut out a photo of a person that they really care about and they put a sticky note right next to the lens there, so they pretend that they're looking at that person the whole time. Now, this is actually a real study that I wanted to mention to you guys because I want to show you this graphic on screen that this study conducted. They looked at dozens and dozens of people looking at that camera lens, and they deciphered, and you're looking at it on the screen right now, that if you have your camera lens placed above you, that doesn't communicate trust. If you have your camera lens placed below you and you're seeing it with the person in the middle on the screen now, that comes across as threatening. And then if you're looking to the side, it's like you're not even there in the room. So those are just a few examples of how important it is to actually look at that little hole over there. And then one trick that I teach executives as well during my speaking workshop is try to have a setup at home where the camera or the phone or the computer is always placed where it needs to be, so that when you're running around and you sit down to take on a virtual meeting, no tienen que estar cuadrando to see if it's at eye level or not. It's just there, and that's your setup. And a little trick to do that, I'm gonna ask Graciela to hand me our laptop stand. We use one of these. So and I'm gonna actually place where you can purchase this in the description of this video. Just place it at home, coordinate it, have somebody that you care about on a Zoom look at it and be like, okay, is this a good setup? Am I looking where I need to look? And then once that's set, estas cosas son nada caras, just leave this set up. You can put it to the side, and whenever you're gonna have a virtual meeting, prop it on there, put your laptop on there, and there you are set and you are ready to go. Same with any tripod that you have at home for a phone. Gran, me pasas el trípode que está por allá? I'm gonna ask Graciela to show you guys one of the tripods that we have here at home. This is a very simple one that I actually take on the road. And once again, once you know the height of what this should be, if you're standing up or if you're using a desk, that's it. You need to just leave it there and facilitate things for you guys, because I actually want you guys to focus on what you're saying and having that rapport with the people you're communicating with, than setting up these things that you don't need to be setting up when you're running around. Okay, so that's it when it comes to where to look. Are you ready to move to step 2? Tip number 2, hand gestures. You see what I did there? So you have hands, use them. Gestures help emphasize what you're saying and keep people engaged. And think about it, in la vida real, in real life, we gesture naturally. But then some people, when you turn on Zoom or Teams, they freeze up. So here's a little tip, and you're seeing, están viendo aquí mi encuadre, you're seeing how I've set up my phone right there. Give yourself enough space with your computer or your phone so that you actually have room to move your hands. So if you place your table here, then you're gonna be like this, and you're gonna be like a little T-Rex, and you're not gonna have sort of space to be able to use your hands. So there's also the other side of the coin, which is actually what happens to me, and I know that many of you are Latino on here, so we tend to gesture with our hands a lot. A mí me tiende a pasar lo opuesto, el otro extremo, y es que uso a veces las manos demasiado. So in news, I actually was told that I was like invading people's personal space when I did interviews, because I was like, listen, so-and-so. So that can also be like a little invasive. And as you just noticed, when you talk with your hands, everything becomes bigger on the screen. So try to find a good middle ground. So for me, if you're a person that tends to exaggerate hand gestures, the trick that I had to teach myself was to keep your elbows sort of tucked here next to your body so that you move like this. See, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is not good. It's kind of like that joke from that movie Hitch, like you live here. You live here, you don't live here, okay? So this is a little trick for you guys. And then for those of you who don't do very many hand gestures, what I teach executives is you need to have at least 2 or 3 what I call default hand gestures. And if you think of politicians, if you think of President Trump, President Obama, like they all have like their signature hand gestures, and it's kind of like their go-to that they feel comfortable with, that sort of anchors them to communicate gravitas. So here are a couple of mine that I can gift you guys. Aquí hay unos que les puedo dar que me funcionan a mí. So one that I use is this one, for example. So one hand here, and then the other one is the one that is gesturing. If I want to say something, you can also flip it. También puede ser al revés. Another one that I like to use is this one. So yes, I really love this idea. So there you have two. You have this one and you have this one. And a final one, which I think is really important, is sort of a listening hand gesture. What to do when the other person is talking to you. How do you show them that you are listening kind of with your hands? You know what I mean? And a trick for me is just to do this. This is what I call a listening face, and we have a whole new episode coming in the future about that. If you guys want to dig deeper, point 5 is also active listening, so stay tuned for that one coming up. Pero ya con eso, quedan listos ahí para las hand gestures. That pretty much covers the basics of hand gestures. Let's move on to step number 3. Tip number 3, light up your face, light up the room. So if people can't see you, obviously they won't feel connected to you. Lighting is everything, mi gente, but it's also easy to set up with these tricks that I am going to teach you. So the very first thing you need to do is sit facing a natural light source, like a window. So my window is right in front of me over there. If you don't have a window in your office, you can buy one of these light stands, but always make sure that the biggest source of light is hitting your face. So lighting says, I'm present, I'm ready to take this moment seriously. And think about, when so many people are multitasking and clicking through screens, when you show up well lit, it shows sort of respect, command, como que, okay, esta persona vino lista. Obviously, because everything is going to be seen to the back of you, make sure that you have a tidy office, a tidy room, because that also says a lot. So there's the first source of light that you need to set up, which is the one that is facing you. I'm going to ask Graciela once again. Hoy no quiere salir en video. Hand me the light, Gra, that one that you have in your hand, con la que viajo. So this is, again, I'm placing this in the description. This is a light that I travel with that you can easily place. See how much that, miren qué diferencia. O sea, look at that. And you can easily place on your phone, just like that. Así, right? Look at that. Or right there on top of the computer. This is easy. The only thing is that you have to charge it ever so often, but it gives you the option of a dimmer also, so you can have more or less intensity in terms of the light. Entonces la luz que siempre les vea de frente. Another really cool trick that I learned that gives my camera presence even more gravitas is to have a small backlight. And this is something that I just learned for my new news show, and I'm so happy about. And it's install a little light, a little reading light to the back of you, que no te esté dando la cabeza, sino just to give whatever is behind you a little depth. I added this one that was literally sitting in one of my nightstands, and look at how beautiful it makes everything behind me look. It just makes my desk look more professional. Apaga esta. I'm gonna ask Graciela to turn it off so you see the difference. You see? Turn it on again. It's just little details because I want you guys also to look polished. And then one more thing, I'm going to turn off the light source that is hitting my face directly so you see the difference with that as well. A ver. Turn it back on again, Gra. Light up your face, you light up the screen so that you can light up the hearts and minds of whoever it is you're talking to in your virtual meeting. And that's it for lighting. Let's move on to the next 2 tips. Number 4, embrace your authenticity. You guys know that authenticity is my absolute favorite topic to talk about. It's actually what I keynote on. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see professionals trying to make on virtual, on Zoom and Teams is just to be like, good morning, everyone. So the quarterly report meeting, what is that? Just because you're on Zoom doesn't mean that you're not dealing with real actual people that are distracted, that want to get to know you, they want to know if they can trust you and the information that you're giving them. So show some of that personality. Even if you're hosting, a lot of executives I train host virtual town halls, and yes, you have a finite time and you have guests, but try to give them a little something that showcases your personality. You know, something like, good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you from beautiful Miami. I know that many of you are tuning in from the Northeast, so we're sending some warm weather your way. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. You see, that didn't even take 20 seconds, and it just showed people where I'm coming in from, that I'm concerned about you and where you are, and that I have a sunny disposition, and that you can sort of trust me to give you that optimism in the next half hour or hour that we're going to spend together. I know that many of you on here are also proud Latinos, and I just want to tell you that, whether you are super corporate or English is your second language and you're unsure about your corporate speak in English, don't worry. The cool thing about authenticity and what people really want to see is that they want to see the real you shine through. So I'm going to give you a real life example for this one. I was training an executive for a big tech company, and he's working in the US and he's French. And he was a little concerned about the fact that he was coming across French and working really hard to be like, good morning, everyone. We're coming to you live for this virtual meeting. And I said, no. So obviously, it's clear that you have an accent. It's clear that you have a French accent. Instead of trying to hide that and make it so Americanized, let's double down on your uniqueness. Let's double down on the fact that you are French, and let's use that to your advantage. So I just gave him a little trick. And this was a very serious executive, by the way. So he was a little wary about doing this. But when he started applying it, me dijo que, it made such a big difference. So I just said, when you start, just say, good morning, everyone. Bonjour. My name is so-and-so. And in the end, just say, thank you so much for tuning in. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Au revoir. Thank you so much, everyone. It's just a little nod to tell people, this is who I am. I'm actually not trying to hide it. And now he's the French-American executive making waves at that company. Little things like what you have in your backdrop. I'm surrounded by my Frida Kahlo books and my dad's artwork from Latin America and my journalism awards. It just gives you a little taste, my dad's portrait, a little taste of who I am. So when you communicate authenticity, you can do it by doubling down on where you come from. You can do it with how you dress. You can do it with your backdrop. But the emphasis here is quite simply, do not hide who you are. Double down on it. Take a couple of seconds on virtual to truly connect with people in an authentic way, and it'll make all the difference in your virtual communications. One more tip to go. Let's do it. You guys are doing amazing. Last but not least, tip number 5, active listening. And here's a big one that we don't talk about enough. Great communicators don't just speak, they listen. And that means looking attentive, smiling, reacting. Wow. When someone's talking, you can't fake being present. People feel it. And if you're trying to multitask and you think that they're not noticing, they're noticing. So just next time someone's speaking on virtual, give them your full attention with your gestures. You already have your hand gestures, the ones that we talked about. So just think about a few ways in which, with your face, with a smile, with a nod, with a reaction, with your hand gestures, you can tell people you are talking to me and I'm actively listening to you. And a quick tip to do it is the second that you get to respond, and this is a great interviewer tip as well for those of you, I know there's a lot of journalists on here who follow me. This is a great tip for interviews as well. Try to follow up with something that they said. Try to use their answer in your question or vice versa, because that shows them like, wow, this person was paying attention. I have Graciela right with me here. So let's pretend that we're in a meeting and kind of like tell me something or wrap up or ask me a question.
Mariana, this has been a very useful exercise. I truly appreciate the time and effort that you put into this. I am attaching the document with my observations, and my comments will be highlighted in yellow.
Thank you so much for taking the time, and I appreciate you highlighting the comments in yellow, because sometimes, when you're running around, it's so hard to find like the most important thing. So I really appreciate that you took the time to do that. Regarding the document, I'm going to be reading it at my office, and then I'm going to get back to you about it. So see, that was just something simple that I picked up from what she said that shows her like, wow, this person was really paying attention. And that's it for active listening. Make sure that you have an active listening face. Make sure that your gestures communicate that you're listening. Make sure that you respond with something that the other person said. And then just plainly make sure that you are actually doing it, like actually doing the work, because you can't fake being present. So let's recap, mi gente. To be a confident communicator on virtual, look at the lens to build trust. 2, use your hands, make your message come alive. 3, light yourself well, it sets the tone. 4, be yourself. And 5, listen with intention. These aren't, Hollywood tricks. They're everyday habits that the more you practice, the more that you will see success in your virtual communications. So now let's open it up. I would love to hear any questions that you have. You can place them right here in the chat on this topic. Gracias a ustedes. Póngame sus preguntas aquí mismo en el chat. You can place them in Spanish and in English. This is work that I do day in and day out at some of the top companies in the country and for some of the top executives. And I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys value out of the moderating and the conference work that I do. And this channel here on YouTube is a work in progress. So if you guys found this useful, if you want more of this to help you in your day-to-day life, write it on the chat and I'll be sure to produce more content like this, because there's so much in this world of communicating and coming across authentically that I can share with you guys so that you guys can be successful at it as well. And of course, if you found this useful, subscribe, share it with someone you love, because we can truly all help each other be better in this time. That's what my brand is all about, and that's what this channel is all about as well, to make you guys feel inspired and empowered with the right tools to lead the life that you want. Muchísimas gracias, y como siempre les digo en español, soy Mariana Atencio. Gracias por estar aquí.